All of that sounds great. But before we get to our distinguished guests, let's go to IP in the news. So, what's on the table for IP in the news today?
Well, Google's in trouble in France.
Once again, so regular listeners of our show will know that Google was fined by the European Commission in and forced to pay royalties for content to publishers that they use on their websites there. So the publishers weren't making any money. Google was making all the money. The European Commission didn't think that was fair, and so they forced the publishers to negotiate contracts with Google. And so, what's the latest in that story?
Well, France is now suing Google or threatening to sue Google because they're not following through well enough, apparently.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, they leveled the fine against Google because they weren't negotiating with the publishers in good faith. So that's really interesting because I'm sure Google is seeing this as a precedent, and the types of contracts they form with the publishers are going to be sort of a template that is used every place else where Google is forced to pay the publishers. And so they're probably not trying to give too much. And the publishers are complaining that they're not giving enough. And so the European Commission stepped in order to make sure that they did give enough. So very interesting situation, and we'll just see what happens there. Hopefully the publishers will get some money from Google.
Right. So time for your roundtable, Richard.
Right. So everyone, it's time for Richard's roundtable, and we're just wondering if you have any comments about what we just talked about, or any questions in general about intellectual property.
And we'll start with Robert.